Okay, welcome to this lesson on platforms, plugins and marketplaces. And you might be wondering why I gave you a Shakespeare quote about being at home. And really that's the metaphor that I would like you to think about when considering where to house your online courses. You're thinking about what sort of home you want your courses to have. There's a few points to think about just initially. So first of all, the tech online course world is much more diverse than anything else, and because of that there are loads of marketplaces and platforms which are specifically dedicated to just offering tech courses. I'm not going to go into that much detail about tech in this course, but certainly if you want more information about that, it's quite easy to stumble across lots of different online articles and information about the tech course universe. The other thing to think about is things called MOOCs, so that's massive open online courses from universities. Again, there are a number of specific platforms and marketplaces just set up to showcase the university online courses, which tend to be quite academic in nature and also are usually free. So we're not going to go into much detail about those here either. Particularly if you're based in the UK, you want to consider VAT, and certainly I would strongly advise getting some advice from an independent financial advisor or an accountant, or just somebody who can offer you some legally sound advice about VAT. Depending on the choice that you make, that will depend on what the VAT implications are. Some of the platforms cover it for you, but you won't be covered with things like the plugins necessarily. Some of them are coming round, and also the marketplaces will vary on whether or not they cover you for VAT, so it's worth looking into that a lot more. Last but not least, when I talk about plugins, I am talking about WordPress plugins here. Sorry to anybody that isn't using a WordPress site. It's one of the largest platforms in the world for using to put together a website, so I use WordPress myself, and that's why I'm only looking at WordPress plugins. So let's start by looking at some of the platforms. So with the home analogy, these are like a prefabricated home, and many people who use platforms call them either a school or an academy. On occasion they'll call them a university. Indeed, this course is being offered through the OTI, Online Training Index Academy. That's what I've chosen. If you hear people talking about schools or academies, that's what they mean. They're probably using some type of platform. They're usually subscription based, and there will be levels to those subscriptions ranging from free to enterprise level. Enterprise level is when you're talking about huge numbers of course sales. They have varying functionality and add-ons, so it really is worthwhile thinking about what your deal breakers are. You don't want to sign up to a platform and suddenly find out that it doesn't deliver something that you really want for your online courses. The three that I suggest you look at are Teachable, Thinkific and Zenler. You can do a very easy search in Google for all of these. This particular academy is on Teachable. It's the one I chose. It's my preference for all sorts of various reasons, but the others are very good as well, and you'll find some people who are very keen on each of them in the various online forums. Each of them will also have their own Facebook group, and they have support articles and lots of help specifically designed to help you get the best out of your online school or academy. The next area we're going to look at is plugins, and this, with the home metaphor, is a bit like building an extension or conservatory on the side of your house being your existing website. They are usually very basic, and you will almost certainly need additional plugins to get them up to the level of functionality that you would get with a platform. They're very often subscription or upgrade based, so what you get from the free version is very minimal, and to get all the additional stuff you will need to upgrade for various extra modules. And you need to be really aware of over bespoking a plugin, which is possible to do and can make life very difficult if you want to move on to a different way of providing online courses, or even you want to change your theme on your website, for example, or move your website entirely. However, the three plugins that I would suggest you look at if you want to go down this route are Lifter LMS, Zippy Courses, and LearnDash. Each of these three has been put together by some famous names in the online marketing online course world, so they know what they're doing. They have various levels of functionality. Some of them have different bits depending on what you want to offer your students and how easy you want it to be for you to put together your online courses. So it's worth checking out those three definitely. Last but not least, we come to the marketplaces, and again, using the home analogy that I used previously, these are a bit like estate agents, and that will have different meaning depending on your view of estate agents. The key things to think about with marketplaces are that they own the students. So your access to the students, to their emails, to being able to talk to them is very, very restricted. In addition, your price that you can set for your course or the earnings that you are likely to be able to make are very heavily restricted too. However, marketplaces have their place, and it really depends on the business model that you want to choose in order to run online courses. So if you are thinking about marketplaces, the three that I suggest you look at are Udemy, Skillshare, and lynda.com. Udemy, you are restricted in terms of pricing to a maximum of £45 or $50, but your earnings from that are likely to be 50% or less. In addition, you don't get any access to the students. You are heavily restricted really on how you can talk to them. For Skillshare, this is a subscription platform, not quite as restrictive. However, you get paid out according to the number of minutes that your courses have had watched by the various students, but there's no restrictions in terms of signing up to Skillshare. However, with lynda.com, which is owned by LinkedIn, which in news recently is also now owned by Microsoft, lynda.com is quite a closed, sort of secretive marketplace, if you like. You have to apply to join Lynda, and if you do apply and get accepted, then you will find out more details about how much earning you are likely to make from that. But again, it's based on the number of minutes of your courses that have been watched on average by students in the previous month. Okay. So the things I want you to think about when you're considering your options in this area. First of all, the ease of use for you. So how easy is it going to be, depending on your own technical ability and your own knowledge of setting up online courses, how easy is it going to be for you to use either the platform, the plugin, or the marketplace? Think about the sort of student experience you want your students to have. And also what sort of access you want to the students yourself. Do you want to be able to promote to them, to have a conversation with them, have a discussion with them, those sorts of things? What sort of exposure you will have to or are likely to get from each of these various options, and this really means marketing. So don't believe the hype about marketplaces doing the marketing for you. They absolutely do not, unless you've got a massive email list that you can take to them in the first place. So you will have to do your own marketing, full stop, no matter what option you pick. What sort of earnings potential? So, is that something that's important to you? Do you not want any restrictions, or are you not fussed? It's purely an intellectual exercise. And then last but not least, what sort of investment you're going to have to make, whether that is in terms of your time or the amount of money. And that's upfront and ongoing. So it can be incredibly easy to get a course out there for very little outlay in terms of money to begin with. But this costs can quickly spiral depending on what you want to do. All right, so that was just a very quick overview of platforms, plugins, and marketplaces. Thank you for your time in this lesson, and I will see you in the next one.